What up, squad? Welcome back to the channel. So emotional eating has been a mountain that I've had to climb very slowly. And I think that if you get control and understand on a deep level your emotional eating, it will make weight loss transformation easy. But getting control of your emotional eating is not easy. But in today's video, I'm going to be giving you some practical ways to handle those moments where you realize you're in the middle of an emotional battle and you are dealing with an urge to overconsume foods that does not align with your fitness goals. Let's jump right into it. Now, I think a lot of us deal with symptoms of emotional eating. It doesn't apply to every single person, but I think honestly, 90% of us are displaying symptoms of emotional eating. But here's how you identify if you have symptoms of emotional eating. First thing, you're triggered by your emotions, right? When you're sad, when you're angry, when you're happy, when you're bored, you want to eat. Another sign is that your hunger isn't always physiological. It's not always a body hunger. Sometimes it's a cerebral hunger. You're not necessarily hungry, but you want to eat. Another sign, you crave very specific foods, and most of the time it's comfort foods, it's fried foods, it's crunchy foods, it's sugary foods. This is a sign that you're dealing with emotional eating. But don't worry, if you identify with any of these things, no worries. I'm gonna give you some tools to help you get through those moments when you're dealing with these emotional cravings. But before we get into these tools, let's go ahead and hit the like button right now on this video. Let's try to get it to at least 4,000 likes. Let's give the algorithm what it needs. Let's get this information to the people who need it the most. All right. So thanks in advance for your support in that. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe right now. All right. So the first step in conquering that moment is to recognize that you're in a moment where you're dealing with an emotional eating craving, right? So recognition, awareness around that is the first step. A lot of the times we don't even realize that we're having emotional cravings. We confuse real hunger with emotional hunger. And so the first step in being able to conquer it is to be able to identify it, right? Like I said, develop and sharpen the awareness around the moment. Now, once you develop the awareness, this is where you can actually start using these tools. You have to remind yourself in that moment that you're experiencing something that is temporary. So if you stop, you put some space in between the recognition of the moment, right? And I also want to challenge you to mentally reframe that moment as an opportunity to sharpen the parts of your mind, right? This is a disciplined deadlift that you're about to perform. So once you recognize that you're in the middle of an emotional craving, the first thing I want you to do is to try to distract yourself. Try to engage in different activities that help divert your attention away from this cerebral craving that you're experiencing. Maybe you want to do a puzzle, read a book, call a friend, go for a walk, do something to just get your mind off of things. I notice when I'm super busy, when I'm churning out videos, when I'm doing research, my mind isn't thinking about food. So when I notice that I'm in the middle of an emotional craving, I just try to get busy, get busy, get busy. So the next tool that you can use to conquer emotional eating is your breath. Again, once you recognize, right? Once you develop that awareness that you're in the middle of that moment where you're craving things emotionally, right? Where your emotional craving is activated, you want to stop. Remind yourself once again that this is temporary and take 5 deep breaths. You can do a 4 count in, 4 count out, and repeat that 5 times. Ground yourself in the moment, use your breath. Your breath is one of the most powerful tools that we have. And a lot of the times the craving will just dissipate. Stop and breathe. The next tool, positive self-talk. Once again, once you recognize that you're in the middle of a moment, you stop and you talk to yourself. You remind yourself of your goals. You remind yourself of what you're trying to achieve. Maybe you use some positive affirmations. You can tell yourself, I am stronger than this emotional craving, right? And then you can turn to the other tools that I just mentioned. Get busy. Try to use something to remind yourself of your goal. Put your goal back at the forefront of your mind. Refer to an old photo. Or maybe if you're like me, you photoshopped your face on The Rock's body. Take a look at that photo. Remind yourself of what you're trying to achieve. And a lot of the times that'll help you get through that moment. The next thing you want to do is drink 2 glasses of water. Sometimes your body confuses thirst for hunger. Instead of giving into the craving right away, stop, drink some water most of the times. And sometimes that'll help with that emotional craving. All right, so the next thing, you may want to focus on healthier alternatives. Like I mentioned, emotional cravings are usually for something very specific. So if you're craving ice cream, maybe you find a high protein, low calorie ice cream instead. Or you may want to indulge in fruit instead of chips. I don't know, just experiment with different alternatives so that you can satisfy the craving without it taking you too far off your path. Another powerful tool, you can journal. In the moment where you recognize that you're in the middle of an emotional craving, you may want to pull out your journal and write down exactly what you're experiencing. What triggered this emotional craving? What are you feeling? Are you sad? Are you angry? Are you frustrated? Are you happy? Like, really take a moment to write it down, because what it does is it detaches you from the craving. It kind of makes this craving a thing that is apart from you. I'm a big advocate for journaling, and there's something magical about the power that you gain over yourself and your perspective when you're writing things down into your journal. The next thing you may want to try is to call a friend, reach out for support, let somebody know, holla at your coach. I'm currently taking on online coaching clients. So if you need the support, you need the accountability, if you need somebody to reach out to when you're in the middle of an emotional craving, go to brixtraining.com, fill out the questions, and schedule a call with me personally. The last thing you want to try when you're in the middle of an emotional craving is to reflect back on the progress that you made. And this is why I advocate taking photos and videos and journaling, because if you have something tangible that you can refer to that shows you how far you've come, and again, reminds you of your goal, reminds you of the work that you put in, and it helps you recognize that giving into that emotional craving right now just may not be worth it. All right, guys, I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, if you have any topics that you want me to make videos about, put it in the comment section below. And remember, guys, the body that you want is owned by a higher version of yourself. So evolve. Peace.